Answers to the question. Let me just make this a bit bigger for me. I can't make it any bigger. Could you make it just a wee bit bigger for me, please? Ah, that's better. Thank you. Answers to the question, what there is, can be said to be idealist or, oh, now too big. Let me put it a bit. Can be said to be idealist or materialist, inasmuch, however, as an imperialist philosophy can be idealist.
Empiricist.
Imperialist. Oh, what did I call it?
Empiricist. Listen. Empiricist.
Empiricist.
Yes.
So, philosophy can be idealist.
What is empiricist?
Can we read first and then we'll ask the questions? You read and then we'll come to those questions.
Sorry.
Finish reading the paragraph.
Even though in a materialist philosophy cannot be rationalist. The opposition. Sorry, I got the opposition between idealism and materialism cannot be made identical with the opposition between rationalism and imperialism. Rationalism
and empiricism. Okay, let's just deal with that paragraph because let's not even read the next paragraph. Let's just read that paragraph. Can somebody else read again so that we go through it once again? Anybody else can read, please.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Answers to the question, what there is, can be said to be idealist or materialist. Inasmuch, however, as an empiricist philosophy can be idealist, even though a materialist philosophy cannot be a rationalist. The opposition between idealism and materialism cannot be made identical with the opposition between rationalism and empiricism.
Okay, so how do we understand it? Let's start with Sister Myra, please.
I think he's trying to highlight the differences between the different thoughts. So as we discussed last Thursday, if empiricist starts with experiments and then draws conclusion from what is observed, and then it's also what someone senses or what someone has seen. But so why can that be idealist? Right, I'm just going to leave that there because I don't know how empiricist philosophy can be idealist. But for materialism,
well, you are right. It can't. You are right. It can't be. That's what it's saying. So you are right. It can't be.
Okay.
It's agreeing with you.
So even though a materialist philosophy cannot be rationalist, so if rationalism is about taking logical steps to arrive to a truth, or it's something that is known through some proven calculation. For example, the example that you gave, Brother Kwame, last time was we can't say that the numbers can be up to 1 billion, but we logically it's possible. However, materialism is lived, it's here and now. So I guess in that way, that's how materialists cannot be rationalist. So I think he's trying to identify the differences between the different philosophies, is what I think.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you very much. Can we hear from Marlin, please? Sister Ida, please.
Idealism and materialism can't be identical. But there's because there's an opposition between I think rationalism is not necessarily the here and now, but that it has to be something believable, whereas imperialism can be made up. I think that is the difference, that one has to be rational and the other can be made up, and you try to aspire towards it, is what I would say. Oh, we've lost the book somehow, have we?
Yes, sorry, it's coming back.
Oh, okay. But I think that's what I would get out of that paragraph. That they're not both the same. They're very different.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost my internet went off slightly, so I lost you. What did you say, Sister Ida?
I said that that idealism and materialism have to be two different things. They can't be identical, because to me, one is about if rationalism is about what is rational, and I think that imperialism is about something that can be made up and you aspire to. Empiricism is something that is made up and people aspire to. It's not something that is set. It's not something that changes. Whereas rationalism, I think, can change because it's what people go through, I think.
Okay, good try. Well done. Let's hear from Brother Pigeon, please. Brother Pigeon there? Brother Pigeon, are you there? Okay, Brother Pigeon is not there. Let's go, Sister Marlin, please. Sister Marlin, what have you gathered so far?
Right. I just looked up imperialism. No, what is it? Imperialism. And it says a person who supports the theory that all knowledge is based on experience derived from the sense. I think it's trying to tell us that idealism and materialism is what we can believe and try to make sense of in a kind of a way, you know, because idealism is, they're more or less the same actually, because idealism is what you think is great, and materialism is what you want. So and you've got to be rational about the whole situation on it, of how you go about wanting it or dealing with it. Yeah? Hello?
We're here.
Where is Kwame?
He's around. Sister
Sister Malin, have you
Mali.
finished or do you have any more thoughts?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes, that's my take on it.
Thank you. Brother Pigeon, let's hear from you.
Did I make sense?
Yes, you did. You always do, Sister Malin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Brother Kwame.
Yeah, Brother Pigeon, yes, can we hear your view as well, please? Your thinking, please.
I'll request that you pass. We hear from Ras Spal, and then I might be able to make more.
Ras just arrived.
Yes.
He wasn't here when we read it. So we need to give him time to.
Okay,
we need to give Ras time to but let's ask him anyway. Maybe he can say something. Ras, you want to say something, or you would like to wait? It's up to you. Sorry?
He's gone. So let me proceed.
Ras is gone. Dekin is here. Dekin Mauli is here. Right. Proceed, Brother Pigeon.
Okay. I can say that from my understanding in the question, the answer to the question what there is can be idealist or materialist.
Brother Pigeon, there's echo in your mic. Just so you know, yeah?
Why is that?
I don't know. Anyway, you go on.
So I'm saying that the idealist or materialist are the answer to the question what there is. And this takes us back to the answer to the question whether it is water or spirit. So idealist to me will mean more of people or the belief of ideas or other things that control the universe. Or materialist.
Sorry. Brother Pigeon, before you continue, can I sorry. Brother Pigeon, it's okay, continue. It looks like you didn't get what I said. So continue, please. Brother Pigeon, continue. Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but I don't think he can.
Brother Pigeon, can you hear? If you can't hear me, continue, please. All right.
Has he dropped out?
Brother Pigeon,
no, he's there.
Brother Pigeon is not speaking. Let's ask Mauli whether he's heard enough to say something. Mauli, we are discussing the first text paragraph on the screen. Are you able to say anything? We're happy to come back to you later.
Okay, I think we have to come back to me later. Yes.
Thank you. All right, let me go back to Pigeon again. Pigeon, can you hear me? Are you able to proceed and share your thinking? Okay, Brother Pigeon is not saying anything. So, all right. So let's see. So we are looking at the paragraph that says answer to the question what there is can be said to be idealist or materialist. That paragraph, are we all clear on what that means? So that paragraph is talking about the constitution of our universe. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah? That paragraph is talking about the constitution of our universe. And the question is, what is our universe made of? And there are only two possible answers to that question. The first one is that our universe is made up of spirit and ideas. That's the first answer to the question. And that is what is called idealism. And that is the philosophy of idealism. The second answer is that our universe is made up of matter, and that is called materialism. These are the only two philosophies there are in the world. So I think by now we should all be clear that the philosophies that we are dealing with in the consciousism class are these two opposing philosophies of idealism and materialism. So is that clear to everyone before I proceed? Marlon, is that clearer? That first paragraph, is that clearer now?
Yeah, you say that again. You're saying matter is what? To do with idealism?
Okay. No. The question, let's start from the question. Yeah?
Yeah.
The question is, what is our universe made of? That's the question.
Right.
Yeah? And there are two answers. What are they? What are the two answers?
What the universe is made of?
Yes.
Idealism and materialism.
That is a philosophy. That's what the philosophies are called.
Yeah.
But what is idealism? What does idealism say the universe is made of?
Spirits.
Spirits and the ideas. This is very basic. We need to grasp this before we continue. So the first answer is that it's made up of ideas and spirits. That's the first answer. Those who say it is made up of ideas and spirits, or spirits and their ideas, are called idealists. And their philosophy is called idealism. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone?
It's
is that
clearer
clear?
now. It's
clear.
clearer
Okay.
now. Thank you.
That's clear. However, I have a question.
Yes.
So I did not intend to actually take us back, but I want to know, is there any mechanism to really prove that it is actually made up of spirits? The universe is made up of spirits.
Very good. Now let's leave that for the next paragraph. So let's get this one clear. We'll answer that question next paragraph. Now, the second answer to the question, what is the universe made of, is that it is made up of matter.
Water.
Yeah?
Matter.
No, matter, not water, matter. Water is just an example of matter. Okay? It's made up of matter. Those who believe in that are called materialists or philosophical materialists, not to confuse them with the everyday use of the word materialism. You're a materialist, you're materialistic. To prevent that confusion, they are described as philosophical materialists. Okay? Now, the philosophy itself is called materialism. Is that clear, everyone?
Yeah, it's better now. Thank you.
Okay. Now, these two philosophies are the most basic that I want us all to understand before we start worrying about rationalism, empirism, all that. The question of philosophy and what it tries to explain are the running theme in the book. Okay, and the first chapter, as we saw, is an attempt to look at philosophy in retrospect. That's the title of the first chapter. Philosophy in retrospect, meaning let's turn ourselves around and look back. The accounts call it Sankofa. Let's look back and look at what we have inherited or what has been explained from the past. Okay, and I think we've been through this and we've explained that all philosophy, all Western philosophy is African philosophy anyway. All Western philosophy is African philosophy. Okay, so I think that is clear. Sister Ida, just so you know, we can see your cupboard.
Oh, can you?
and your hair. Yeah, just so you know. No, it's fine. Okay, so is that clear, everyone? Are those two basic descriptions clear for everyone now? Does everyone understand that?
Could you,
Yes.
sorry, could you, I'm sure I could find it, but could you say what the first chapters is called again?
philosophy in retrospect.
Okay.
So
Retrospect.
retrospect means look back.
Yes, and glance
Retro, look back.
over.
Yeah, turn around and look back and look at what you have. Or what have we? What is currently our? What is our inheritance? What is the legacy? The philosophical legacy that we have. And
Okay.
so that first sentence is reminding us of the question: how do we explain what there is? What there is meaning, how do you explain the universe? What there is in the universe? So is that clear, everyone? Good. Now that is clear, let's go to the next paragraph. Sorry, the next paragraph, the next sentence, rather than this paragraph. Okay, no, the first. Let's go to the second sentence in that same paragraph. Then it says, inasmuch, however, as an empiricist philosophy can be idealist, even though a materialist philosophy cannot be rationalist, the opposition between idealism and materialism cannot be made identical with the opposition between rationalism and empiricism. So the question then is, let's be clear, what is rationalism and what is empiricism? What are they? Well, they are philosophies of science. That's what they are. Rationalism is a philosophy of science, and empiricism is also a philosophy of science. Rationalism says that to understand the world, you need to reason about it. You just have to sit down and reason and use logical analysis, and then you will understand the universe. Empiricism is saying that you can only know it through experience, and that means experimentation, observing, and so on. So, for example, you can't understand marriage unless you've been married before. To give a very simple example, empiricism would say that you can't understand marriage unless you have had the experience of marriage. And rationalism says that you don't have to. You can just analyze marriage rationally, reason about it, and you'll understand it. Yeah. And empiricist philosophy. So because rationalism is a use of the mind, you see, and this is the thing, rationalism uses the mind. Empiricism uses all the senses. You see, you can see, what you can touch, and so on. So we are saying that there's an opposition between idealism and materialism. Okay, why is there an opposition? Because idealism says that the universe is made up of spirit and their ideas, and materialism says that the universe is made up of matter. The two are opposed, so the two don't agree. So there's an opposition. But when you are using your mind to rationalize, yeah, use your mind to rationalize, there is no opposition. You can still rationalize with your mind and still be empirical. So there is no opposition between rationalism and empiricism. And an empiricist philosophy.
Oh, stop. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you said there's an opposition between rationalism and imperialism.
Idealism and materialism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There is an opposition. There is an opposition between rationalism and empiricism. But that opposition is not the same as the opposition between idealism and materialism.
Okay, yeah.
The opposition between idealism and materialism is very clear. One says spirit and ideas, the other says matter.
Matter, yeah.
So that's opposed. But when you use a mind to rationalize, that is not opposed to empiricism.
Okay.
So when you use the mind to rationalize, that rationalization, even though you can say that is idealism, it is not opposed to empiricism, even though empiricism is a materialist philosophy. Okay, so what does this mean for Africa? So let's apply it to Africa, and then let's see. What does this mean for Africa? What? Hey,
Brother Kwame.
yes.
Now, does it mean that materialism can apply both rationalism and empiricism? And does
Correct.
also that mean that
Correct.
idealists can also apply both? Can also
Sorry?
idealists apply both? Can
Sorry,
also idealists apply
ask your
both
first
rationalism?
question.
My
Ask the
first
first
question
again.
is,
Yeah.
my first question is, does it mean that materialists can apply both rationalism and empiricism to arrive at their logical conclusion?
Correct.
Now, my second question is, do that apply to idealists the same?
Well, idealism, the problem with idealism is it has no science. That's the problem with idealism.
It has no experiment.
It has no science. It does not offer any science.
It's just a belief. It's something like
It's just
a belief. You cannot prove it.
Yeah, no, not so much that, but idealism does not offer us an explanation of the world that we can prove.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Idealism is a belief. It's a way of looking at the world, but it has no scientific explanation of anything.
So,
any scientific, yes, it's who is a Christian, for instance. I have not prayed enough, but I've prayed. They say, well, we haven't prayed hard enough. Maybe say, well, I prayed hard enough. They say, well, maybe because you didn't, what you ask is not according to the will of God. Or we say, well, what I ask is according to the will of God. Then they'll say, well, maybe this is not God's time to answer your prayer. Then you say, well, I was sure that it was God's time. So the goalpost keeps changing. There is no clear definition or explanation for anything. You see, but if you ask, if you ask an empiricist, what is water? Water is H2O. Two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. That's what it is. Simple. It's clear.
so,
yes.
So does it mean that idealists rely much on rationalism than even empiricism, or they don't rely on any?
Well, so the second line is saying that an empiricist philosophy can be idealist. It can be idealist in the sense that it will draw a conclusion and say that I believe that I want to understand the world through experience, but I believe that Black people cannot govern themselves. That's what I believe. Yeah, it's just my belief. There is no so you are looking at experience, and then you are explaining experience through ideas and spirits, and that is what you are doing.
So, excuse me, are you saying that idealists can also come under racist?
They are the top racists.
Sorry?
They are the top racists.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yes, that's what it sounded like, because they use the, say, Bibles and stuff like that, or religion to. Okay, thank you.
Idealism is a source of racism because idealists do not believe we all come from the same matter, because they don't believe in matter anyway. So they don't believe we come from the same matter, and therefore we are all different. So idealism can conceive of a hierarchy of spirits. At the top is maybe some spirit, call it the Holy Spirit or whatever. Then under that you have spirits of top angels like Michael and the angels. Then you have, I mean, there's a whole hierarchy of spirits, and there's a passage in there's a passage in the book of I think it's Ephesians that says we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Yes,
And
yeah.
Christians like to quote that a lot, but against what? Principalities, against whoever knows the code. You know that code. So principalities are the top spirits. Then underneath them are the powers, the rulers of the darkness of the world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. These are hierarchy of spirits, and that is how they explain the world. You see. So idealism believes in a hierarchy. Materialists don't, because we believe that we come from the same matter. Everybody is made up of hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, water, and so on. Yeah. We all breathe the same way. All of us have lungs that breathe. We all eat food. We all excrete. We all go to the toilet and excrete. It doesn't matter whether you are a king, whether you are however powerful you are, you will also eat and go to the toilet. Just like, in fact, just like pigs do. So so how are you higher than anybody? Yeah. Okay, so is that paragraph clear? Now, is that clearer? Any questions before we continue?
That is very clear.
Okay, now my question then to you all, one at a time, because I want to know how does this apply to Africa? Let's start with Sister Myra. How do you think this will apply to Africa? Rationalism, empiricism, idealism, materialism. Leaving aside idealism, materialism, let's look at the philosophies, rationalism and empiricism. How do we think it applies to Africa? Because everything we are reading is meant to apply to Africa.
So I think that the problems of Africa.
I like how you started. I think that's what it's
about. The problems that Africa is facing are very material. We know there's corruption. We know there's violence. We know we call it democracy, but it's not really democracy. We know we've got these leaders that seem to think they're going to be rulers for life, and then they install their children. So we know all these things which we experience every day, the suffering, the system's not working. So I think those are very material problems. It's a very, very material existence. We see it, we live it, we have families there, we know what they go through. So then what do we do about it? I think if empiricism is experience and observation, then maybe we can apply empiricism to think back to, well, so we were colonized. Was that good for us? No. Then we had independence. Has that made a difference? No. Then we are now under neocolonialism. How is that going? Not very good. So we have that experience, I feel. So we can draw our observations from, that can be like the experiment, with our lived material existence, but we can look at it through empiricist eyes and say that if that was an experiment, then we're not doing well, it's not working. And then maybe we can rationalize and say, right, so then, well, where do we go from here? Perhaps we've had great writers like Nkrumah that had theories. We can start to maybe start to think about them. Maybe we can look to our old knowledges of governance and think what will work for us, what will not work for us, and reason and balance the good, the bad, and then maybe find a solution. So I think in summary, what I'm trying to say is our experiences are material because we suffer them, we live with them, we see when each of us knows what is happening in their governments, in their homes, in their families even. because of the systems that are not working for any of us. Then empiricism, we have the experience of our history, so we can infer from that what has worked and what has not worked, and then maybe with that we can then rationalize and look for solutions from people like the Nkrumah, which we're doing, and maybe from what was there before, what can work now. We can reason and say, can we adapt it to the modern age and find solutions that are for us as Africans, and not solutions that are that were born under foreign philosophies, which Brother Kwame reminds us were actually African, but they have been bastardized and then renamed to be Western, but they're not really even fitting to our own problems. That's what I think.
All right, thank you very much for sharing your thinking. Let's go to Brother Mauli. Share his thinking.
So I was having a discussion a couple of days ago with a friend, and I was asking that how come we Africans have actually created a devil for ourselves and later go and pray for the devil to be cast away. But when we take a look at our character, or what's from generations ever since colonialism, we have played a role in it in terms of when colonialism stopped, we should have actually changed our ways of doing things. We didn't change. So in this case, will it be okay to say that I'm taking a look at it from the imperialism aspect or from the material aspect of it?
Is that a question for us?
Yeah, a question.
Sorry, so what's the question again?
The question is, I was having a discussion with a friend about how our character has created the very devil we've been going to church to go and pray to cast away. And when you even take a look at it, you realize it goes even generations ahead of or behind you. And that we as a people have to really come to terms with it that, look, these are the lifestyles that we lived that contributed to creating that very devils. So we need to scientifically correct ourselves and also be disciplined in order not to repeat those same devils again for the next generation, and for them to break that spell. So what I'm asking is it a scientific, materialist aspect of viewing this, or it is an imperialist aspect of viewing it?
Can I take I know this is not the question that you asked us.
Yeah, but before you ask, Sister Ida, repeat the question again. Is this a Mauli,
Is it
repeat
an
the question again.
imperialist or is it an idealist?
It is, yes, exactly.
Or materialist,
Sorry,
yes.
Sister Ida came in, so I didn't hear. Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
So is it an idealist or materialist?
Which one? Which one? I want to clear the question.
In
It's
terms
what
of
yes, in terms of
the very lifestyle that we've created, or the devil that we've created by our character.
And by character you mean?
The negative tendencies that we like, the corrupt aspect of our nature as Ghanaians or as Africans.
Okay, can I ask then, if you relate that to what Sister Mara said earlier,
yeah,
do you not think these are our material experiences?
Yeah. These are material, okay, so there's no scientific aspect of it.
But materialists is scientific, isn't it? Empiricism is a scientific. Empiricism is a scientific philosophy. It's a philosophy of science. That if you want to understand the world, you must do it through experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
You must do it through experience. And rationalism says that to understand the world, you must do that through thinking or reasoning. You must think about it. You must reason.
Yeah.
Reason. But there's a sense in which you can say that you cannot, for example, set up an experiment without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So there's a link there.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, yeah. So thanks for your question. We'll come back to it. This is Ida wanted to contribute to the questions. Ida.
Oh no! Now you've answered it. I don't really want to, but if you want me to answer
Please do.
what you
Please
asked
do.
us about Africa.
Yes, that's the question we are. But feel free
Okay,
to
so
contribute
the
to
question that you asked us
Adamawi's
was,
question.
no, I'll leave his for now.
Okay.
The question that you asked us is, which side is Africa facing? Is it materialist or idealist?
My question is My question is, how do we apply what we've just read to Africa? That's my question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I would say that once you begin to, I love how you've broken it down today for us. And now because I've been writing it down, I now understand the difference between idealist and materialist, in that idealists use spirits and ideas in a racist fashion, whereas materialists, which is very much like Sister Maya said, an African that we live it as an African reality. It's not, and it's also that half the time, because it's taken away from us, it's always stolen, so we're always poorer than we should be. But it doesn't take away the fact that that Africa is a rich continent. So to me, I never understood, up until we started doing the Saturdays and we started hearing about what was going on and how people have managed to stay rich and keep people down via what does he call it? Rituals and keeping people at the top, a certain group at the top. So now I can understand, or to me, I can understand better what this philosophy is talking to us about. Because, okay, you've broken it down to, it's just two things. It's either idealism or it's materialism. So I now understand it, and that materialism can apply to both sides, but idealism has no science. Materialism has a science to it. Idealism doesn't have a science to it. It's just people making up things that they then encourage other people to think are true, but the truth behind it isn't there if you follow it back hard enough.
Yeah, all the science. Yeah, I think all the science we know, physics, chemistry, biology, geography, they are all materialist sciences. They are not based on idealism.
Yes.
Basically, history, every science you can think of. There is a science called psychical research. There is psychical research, or even psychology is not idealist, because it explores the mind, the brain, and the mind. So even psychology, even though it's dealing with the brain and the mind, is not a spirit. It's not about spirits. It's about real things, the mind and the brain, and how people think, and so on, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So let's hear from others. We are asking ourselves, how do we apply what we've just read to Africa? And it's to help us come down to earth. Yes, Brother Pigeon, your turn. Yes. Is it a question or you want to contribute?
No,
I really want us to give Brother Spala from South Africa time because he has been on and off, but he's shared something very important in this regards to this subject in our WhatsApp group that you said you are not actually part of it. You've not been active for the past few days. He's shared something very important. So kindly, before his network is off, permit him to share something in regards to this that he shared in the group in relation to this text. Please.
All right. Yeah. Is Brother Spala here? I can't see him. I think he's gone again. Brother Pigeon.
Okay, let me
Maybe
then
you
come
can
in.
share it for him. Yeah, maybe you can share what he shared. Maybe you can share it.
No,
And if
I'll go
not,
to the group and I'll go to the group and check it. I'll share it.
all right. Otherwise, you share with us what you think about what we've just read. How do we apply it to Africa? So Samara started
Okay,
it off
thank you very
nicely
much.
for us.
First is that can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay,
We
first
can
I'll
hear
say
you.
that Sister Shireen has shared has sent her apology that she might not be able to join us because of some network issues. Thank you. Brother Coco had said he will join late, but he has now joined. Now let me
He's
move
joined
to
now.
my
Coco has
presentation.
now joined.
Yes.
Coco has joined.
Yeah,
Coco
let
is
me
here.
share my thinking now. Yes. Now my thinking is this. As Sister Myra has said, that we can actually apply both empiricism in terms of our experience and what we've gone through in the hands of imperialism in Africa, we can actually employ that. Then out of that empiricism and out of that research and analysis, we can be rational enough to make a rational decision on how we can move forward as a continent. And I'll say, for example, that idealism and the beliefs of spirits has actually confused the whole continent and has been used for a period of time that actually deter us away from the real aspect of life. And these were the proponents for neocolonialism and even colonialism, and even now neocolonialism is still using the same. So having analyzed the idealism application in Africa and believing in spirits in Africa for a long period of time, has it actually helped us liberate ourselves, or it has actually enslaved us more mentally? And the answer is it has done more harm to us as Africans than good. And therefore, with that experience, can we be able to make a rational decision in our minds that in order to move forward, we must look at Africa in a materialist position, not in terms of actually possessing materials, but in materialist position in a manner that everything that happened within the universe are everybody within this universe are equal and are from the same thing. And therefore, we must find a way not to appear as... Yes?
Go on. Are you asking us that question,
No,
or are you telling us?
I'm asking myself in the process of presentation. So we must actually go deep and understand that the aspect that we've been fighting either as Africans in the question of race and who is superior and inferior, and that we Africa feel an inferior than either the other race, should just actually get a solution from the materialist aspect, that we are all from the same matter. And therefore, whatever the West thinks that they're capable of doing, we also Africans are capable of doing. Whatever the West thinks that we are not capable of governing ourselves, we have the ability to do that. And therefore, we must not appear as Africans as children of the lesser being, but we must know that we are all equal. We must look inward as Africans in order to liberate and help Africa. But as long as we still depend on the West and think that we are so lesser equal to help our problem, and think that they out there have the best ideas and are more advanced than ourselves, then we'll continue remaining in this circle. So this call upon us being independent enough, understanding our power and our potential, and actually focusing on how we can actually repossess whatever we've lost through the ideas and the spiritual confusion that actually has taken us away from the real matter. Apply experience and put with the rational decision to make a move and a step towards liberating Africa. That's what I can say.
Yeah, you see, thank you for your contribution, Brother Pigeon. But the thing is that the way you've explained it is fine. But those of us who live with white people do not see it that way. We don't see it as they are superior to us or they have best ideas than us and so on. That is not how we see the world. And I think there is a, and Coco will bear me witness because he is also living here. Sister Ida lives here, Marlin lives here. So I think that the way those who haven't traveled widely or haven't traveled out of the continent to other parts of the world, how they see the world, I think is different from the way those who have traveled see the world. And I think it's important. This is why this class is important, that we share views, we share ideas, and so on and so forth. Because, for instance, when talking about great ideas, you will find Caucasians quoting Mandela and other great black people. So they quote, when they are talking about certain things, they always quote black people. You know, they don't quote white, but they quote black people that people know. So I think, yeah, but thank you very much for sharing. And I think that you are right. But can I say also that, you see, I don't think the problem is religion. You see, the problem is not religion. See, and if we think the problem is religion or spirits, then I think we'll make the problem unsolvable. Because Africans fundamentally believe that the universe is a continuum, that the spirit and matter are a continuous reality. It is the Western mind that has created the even though we are talking about position in this paragraph, let's remember that is not the African position. That is the Western position. It's the Western position that there is a contradiction or there is an opposition between spirit and matter. For the African, we don't think like that. So when there is an accident, I use this example. When there's an accident, the African says, okay, so the car hit the boy. I think there is something behind. It's not just an ordinary car hitting the boy. I think there is a spiritual aspect to it. What the African really means is that in order to explain matter, in order to explain something in the world, you have to take into account the material circumstances and also the spiritual circumstances. Now, that in itself is not wrong. You see, the issue is this: it is the leadership of Africa. That is where the problem lies. You see, it is the leadership of Africa that need to have clarity. It's not the people. You know, it's the ordinary African is not. Is just going about his or her life. They go about their business. They'll pray when they want and so on. They are not the problem. The problem is the leadership. The leadership that is ahead of us, and the leadership have not clarified their own mind. You see, they haven't clarified in their mind. So, if you want to provide drinking water for the people, how do spirits come in? Tell me. If you want to provide good drinking water to African people, how do spirits come in here? If you want to provide good housing for our people, how do spirits come in? Can someone tell me how spirits come in? If you want all our daughters to go to school, all children in Africa to go to school, how do spirits come in? How has spirit got to do with you as the political leadership, making sure that the money is available, the investment is there, you know, even if it's irrigation. You see, so it is the leadership that are the problem rather than the ordinary people. This is my thinking. Anyway, I've said enough. Let's hear from other people. Let's hear from. So we've heard from Sister Myra, we've heard from Sister Ida, we've heard
Brother
from
Kwame.
Brother Mauli.
Two of
Those
us
with
have
your
got
hands
our
up.
hands up.
Yeah, but you'll have to wait. I'm afraid we have to hear from others
But
first.
it's something you said
Especially
that we want to challenge you on.
if you have spoken, yeah, you challenge me later. Let's hear from others. Then you challenge me
Oh,
later.
who's going to remember? Okay.
Write it down. Write it down. So, do you think you will forget?
But the thing is, if you were being
All
slightly
right, Sister Ida.
insulting.
Sister Ida, go on.
The thing is, I think you were being slightly insulting in the fact that you think that people who live in the West might challenge in a different way or might know something in a different way. Because if you look at the amount of Africans in prison in both the UK, America, and all the other places, you know, I mean, it's only recently that Africans have been able to openly challenge. I think that's the difference. Whereas you made it sound
how does that contradict what I'm saying?
It's how you put it to Brother Pigeon when you said those who are in the Africans in the diaspora have a different way of thinking, and I think it's only recent.
It doesn't mean superior or inferior.
Well, it made it sound slightly like it was, and I was thinking, well, up until a couple of years ago, you know, you challenge someone, you're more likely to lose your job, lose your this, lose your, you know, end up in jail or whatever. So that's why I'm even making any noise about it or saying anything.
Okay, I don't think that's what I'm not talking about being able to challenge anyone. I'm talking about how we see the world vis-a-vis Caucasians. That's the point I was making.
Yes, but that is exactly what I'm challenging. That because I don't think that we saw the world any different from any African in the continent who might be afraid of challenging a European. I think it's
but challenging. But challenging is a different thing. I'm talking about how you see the world. Whether you challenge anyone or not is a different matter. But how do you see the world? So. So how you see the world is not about whether you are.
Yes,
I'm talking about how you see the world, not whether you challenge anyone.
But I think we've all seen the world exactly the same as any African in Africa, you know, and up until recently, we might have had a lot of grudges about white people this and white people that, because that is exactly what was going on, you know, white people this, white people that. But we wouldn't necessarily have challenged it outside our own circles.
So if you take the material experience, so if a brother marries a white woman,
but that's more recent.
Hold on. No, it's not recent. Our brothers have always married white people. It's not a recent thing.
But not in the numbers that there are now.
It doesn't. The matter doesn't matter. I'm talking about how you see the world. Are you saying that how I see white women will be the same as a brother who has married a white woman?
Repeat that. How you see the world?
Are you saying that how I see a white woman will be the same as a brother who has married a white woman? That's my question. If the way a brother who has married a white woman sees white woman, are you saying to be the same as me or another brother who has never married a white woman? Are you saying they'll be the same? Well, what do you think?
When it comes to marriage, I really don't know what's this. I mean, well, all right,
okay, fine. Let me use another example.
Yes, please.
A sister or a brother whose boss is white, as opposed to a sister or brother whose boss is black. Are you saying that they will see white people the same way?
I can only look at my bosses who I would challenge harder if they were black.
You keep using the word challenge. I'm not talking about challenging anything. I'm just saying how you see things, how you see the world in the workplace with a white boss, and how an African who has a black boss and how they see white people. Are you saying that the two experiences are the same? That is my question, because that is what I'm referring to.
But I think
that is the point I am making. I am not talking about challenging anything, because if you are a black person, an African in an African company, and you want to challenge your boss who is black, you can do that if you think he or she is wrong. Yeah. Okay.
No, not
So
necessary.
if you not necessarily, but if you think he or she is wrong and you think you can challenge him or her and you want to do, you can. Similarly, if you are in a company or a space where the boss is Caucasian and you are in a position where you can challenge them, you will. It depends. I agree with you, it depends. But that is not the point. The point, I'm not talking about challenging. I'm saying how you see the world. There's a saying, there's an African saying that he who travels, he who travels sees more or understands more things. If you travel, you see the world from different perspectives than someone who has never traveled. And that's the point I am making. I'm not talking about challenging anyone. I hope that that is clearer. Let's go to Brother Coco because he's on his hand up for a while. Brother Coco.
Thank you, brother, and thank you, Sister Ida. Interesting perspectives. I see this from the same angle as you are seeing it, Brother Christian, because I came to the country in 2004. I think the first job that I went and worked in, the boss even told me you were so quiet because I just could. It took a lot of warm.
Brother Coco, we can't hear you properly. It goes up and down. So maybe come closer to the mic so we can hear you better.
Okay. Is that better?
It's better, yes. You speak clear.
Yes.
You were saying, sorry.
Yes, I understand your perspective there regarding travel is seeing. That is our saying in Sesotho. To travel is to see. So our education is not only restrained to the classroom, it also involves traveling around. And that traveling is not just being a tourist, it's actually living in those areas, which sort of give you the perspective from a different angle altogether. But let me talk about the book here. Rational. I was part of the staff network not long ago. I remember we wanted to use the numbers to sort of impress upon the leadership that they have to do something for the Black, Asian, and minority ethnic peoples, my workplace. And I recall one guy who had been there for a while. He said, "We know there is a problem. There is a problem. And we can't get hold of the statistics because HR has not been compiling the statistics that well. And for us to wait until we get the statistics to make change, then is actually letting these guys off the hook." It was that. It's important to know that there is an issue and to address that issue. So going back to Africa, we know Africa has an issue. We cannot go ahead in Africa and do all of the research in all of the 54 countries to actually say, these are the problems. And in any case, Kwame Nkrumah had already done some of the research when he wrote the New Colonialism in 65. So it's more of the logic in this case, the rational, being rational and saying we need to change things for the African. It's important to consider that, especially using what they have in their land. What do they have as their materials? Are they benefiting them? Do you have to go and do a research to convince yourself that the African is not benefiting from what is in his land? Because we know what happened during colonialism and slavery. Cecil Rhodes, he came in South Africa, or Southern Africa, especially in Zimbabwe, saw the land and said, the African cannot have land. They took the land from the African and gave it to the whites. Most of the land was taken by the Africans, by the Europeans, and inhabited by the whites, who at the end wanted some compensation for ill-gotten gains, which Tony Blair refused to actually fund. The same thing happened, is happening in South Africa. The same thing has happened in Kenya in a way. So is that question, how do we address that, knowing is rationalism and then there is empiricism on the other hand, where we'll say, okay, what does the law say? They will put on laws which they want to impose or they want to enforce, regardless of what place you say international law has to be observed. Otherwise, you start to lose the investors. You start to scare the investors away if you take the law onto your own hands. But we have seen what Burkina Faso is doing. We have seen what Mali is doing. So the question is, are all the other countries in Africa going to be brave enough to do that? I don't know. We don't know yet. This again is a question of rationalism here versus idealism.
Okay, thank you very much. So we've heard from Sister Ida, we've heard from Sister Myra, we've heard from Brother Mauli, we've heard from Brother Pigeon, we've now heard from Brother Coco. Let's hear from Sister Sister Marlin. Sister Marlin, share your thoughts. Before that, Brother Pigeon, do you have your hand up?
Yes, Brother Kwame.
Yeah. Do you want to come before Sister Marlin comes in? Can you yeah.
Yes,
Come in before Sister Marlin.
My comments that actually you made comment about that now Sister Ida found, of course, is that I never said, and when you said that people live outside the continent see the world differently, even most of presidents in Africa have ever studied outside the continent, but they still go back outside the continent to think that they might find the solution for the continent from the outside. What I was trying to say is that most of Africans do not think that they have equal ability, both African leaders and even African citizens, they do not think that they have equal ability within the continent to actually prosper and develop Africa. And therefore, they'll either have an Africa-France meeting, an Africa-US meeting, an Africa-UK meeting, so that they go address their problems to the US or UK, hoping and thinking that they'll come up with a solution once they come back home. And that's what I was saying, that it appears like they find the inferiority in their ability, while materialism try to say that we are all from the same universe and we have the equal potential to develop and build ourselves. That's what I was trying to bring.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Thank you so much. So thank you. Let's go to Sister Marlin and hear from Sister Marlin. Nobi Chungu Mapoma. I don't know whether it's male or female, but please get ready to speak after Marlin. Thank you. Marlin? Sister Marlin is not there. So let's go to Mapoma. Mapoma. Mapoma, hold on. Sister Marlin, yes.
Yes, sorry, I went on another Zoom, so I missed what was going on.
You always do that. So can we then skip you because you haven't heard anything we said? So let's go to Mapoma, please. Let's go to Mapoma.
We understand these definitions, but
Mapoma,
also
what do you think?
apply them to ourselves. In which areas have we sinned, or are we continuously most tempted to sin?
Mapoma, what do you think? Yeah, you have unmuted yourself, but we can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Sister Myra, you have your hand up.
I just wanted to make a comment on what Brother Mauli said. And when he posed his question, what leapt out to me was, I think in Africa, we have all these problems which are very material and impact us mostly negatively. But then we think that the solution is idealist. So we see these men and women with their big cars and their big houses. Then we run to the pastor to say, please, here's all my money. make me rich, pray for me to be rich as well. But maybe we can start to reason and ask ourselves, has that worked? Or has that changed anything? And then the second point I wanted to make was, Brother Kwame, you always tell us that you don't think religion is the problem. And you know, when you said that, I really thought about it. And there is a YouTube channel that documents cults and religious cults and religious organizations in America that has bamboozled these white people, just as they've bamboozled Africans. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that also happens on my continent. So these things happen. These things happen.
When you say
even here.
bamboozle, give us an example. How did they bamboozle?
I'll give away all my money. Then the next thing you see, the personality has changed. They're not the same person. Then the next you see they're starving themselves. Then the next you see as in the person just loses their mind.
How is that the fault of religion?
Sorry, start again.
How is that the fault of religion?
So let me just land the point. So what I'm trying to say is that these things happen in Africa and elsewhere, even here. But look at them. That hasn't stopped them from being where they are. So to me, that proved to me that it's not religion. It's like you said, the religiosity on the African continent is a response to the poverty, but the poverty is caused by other overarching issues. And one of them, like you mentioned, Brother Kwame, is leadership. We have a poverty in leadership. So I don't think religion is really the main cause of our problems, but it's like a response to our problems, but it's not the solution.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. Let's go to Mapoma again. I notice you unmuted yourself. If you don't want to speak now, that's fine. We can come back to you another time, but you have unmuted yourself. Would you like to say something? Because we can't hear you. Okay. I don't think he or she wants to speak. Right, let's go on with the book. Let's go to the next paragraph.
I have a challenge though.
Can I say something?
Who is speaking? Sister Marlin, hold on. So, Marlin, you haven't been listening to us. So what do you want to say?
I've just read it to myself.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Brother Marley, go on. You come in first. Brother Marley, you said you had a question. You had this comment. Yeah, Marley's not saying anything either. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go with the book, please. Let's carry on with the book.
You know where it says a certain destructive character.
No, we haven't got Marlin. We are not about to read that now.
Oh,
so that's what we're about to.
Didn't you move on from the last?
We are about to read it. Marlin, we are about to read that now. Thank you.
All right, sorry.
So I should, okay, then.
Yeah, Brother Marley, you wanted to say something or ask a question?
Yeah, I wanted to react. You asked a question, how does religion be the cause of the problem, or how does it contribute to the problem?
Those are two different questions. How does it contribute? How does it cause? Two different questions.
Okay, how does it contribute to the problem? I would say that religion have you believing that there is a supernatural being up there or somewhere who is in charge of solving your problem, even when you fail to do for yourself what you need to do. I mean, responsibility for yourself.
Yeah, but that is idealism, Brother Mauli. That is what we call idealism. It's a belief that spirits and their ideas constitute the universe. You see, that is ideal. That is a philosophical position that some of our human family take, and you can't stop them from having that belief. If what I'm saying makes sense, you can't stop people from going to church or going to the mosque if they want to. and it is their right to. So I'm saying that if we see that as a problem, then we are looking at it wrongly. What we need to look at is the leadership. You see, it's the leadership that is the issue. Because if you are going to provide drinking water for the people, then you can't say to the people, some spirit will come and give you the water, because that is not possible. Some spirit
on the other hand,
yeah.
the leadership also needs the people to collaborate with him or her to be able to execute that said project.
But there's somebody who, but there's somebody who say to you that the leadership that you are talking about came from the same people. So how are they going to be different from the people?
So then it become a cyclical thing then.
No, it's not. It doesn't. What it does, what it becomes is you have a different leadership that believe in a different philosophy, who should then come forward and provide leadership. And they also come from the people. We here come from the people as well. We are not different from the people. However, we have a different philosophical position. And our philosophical position is materialism. The two philosophical positions can be found among the people. It is those with the materialist position that have to now come forward and provide leadership. So if you take Kenya, for instance, Brother Pigeon here has set up a political party, and he wants to provide materialist leadership. You see?
Yeah.
So, and when he provides that materialist leadership, guess what? He's not going to tell them to pray for irrigation. Okay? That's not what he will tell them.
Yeah.
You see? So he will provide a materialist leadership. So it is not a cyclic problem. You see, it is the fact that those who are materialists have not, if you like, come forward to provide leadership for the continent. And when they have been attacked or killed and so on. So some are afraid, and some are afraid. But the secret of life is to have no fear. You have to do what you have to do. We will all die anyway. So what is the problem? We will all die at some point.
So then there is this school of thought that believe that really intentionally or unintentionally you didn't mean to, or people didn't mean to really hurt these material leaders. However, because of their belief system, so they've been skilled in a way to think that the material leader who is trying to cause change or really make things happen has rather become their enemy. So then we now say, okay, if that is the case, then it means religion has really is what is killing their mentality. Because here that's the case, one person is taking full responsibility of his action, trying to make things happen. The other person is also thinking the other way around. So that means then nothing will be achieved then. We'll find ourselves in that cycle over and over again. So when we say to the society will have to be rethink about in terms of our view towards each other, then how do we achieve that balance if we can't address religion as part of the problem?
Okay, so in terms of the full application to Africa, we address that on Saturdays where we have a discussion on that. So here we focus on the philosophy that we need, and I was merely trying to get us to understand that what we are reading applies to Africa, that we need to apply it. But we apply that on Saturdays when we have the discussion and so on. So I know Brother Coco-san is up, but let's return to the book and read that paragraph before we come back again with another round of discussion. We only have about 20 minutes left. Brother Mali, since you are speaking, can you read the paragraph for us, please, on the screen?
Unfortunately, I have eye problem.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, can Brother Coco read for us, please, as his hand is up as well? Brother Coco, read for us. Thank you.
What page in the book are we on?
Hold on. I think this is page. Let's see. The page numbers are not here. Let me see.
Oh, don't matter.
It's page 14, Sister Malin.
Yeah.
What page is it?
Page
14.
14.
Okay.
1-4.
1-4.
1-4. Okay. Brother Coco, are you able to read for us? If not, Sister Myra will read for us. Okay. Brother Coco Hassan is down, but he's not saying much. Okay. Brother Coco, we'll come back to you.
Can you hear me?
Sister Myra, can you read a paragraph for us, please? Well, we can hear you.
It is.
Go ahead, Sister Mara.
Yeah, let
Is that-
Sister Myra read, Brother Coco.
is-
It's okay. But Sister Myra, read for us.
Is that the one starting from rationalism?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Rationalism and empiricism also vary over the avenues to knowledge.
No, not that one. Not that one. The one before that. The
All right,
paragraph
yeah,
before that.
stay confused. Rationalism is a philosophical breed imbued with certain distinctive characters.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my apologies. I put on the wrong paragraph. Yeah, it's the correct paragraph now on the screen. Yeah, go on.
In it, an explanation is conceived in such a way that the explanation must create a logical inference to that which is explained. Empiricism, on the other hand, has no such inference to offer. If one kind of event is regularly and invariably followed by another kind, empiricism accepts the first kind of event as explaining the second kind. But rationalism cannot, because this succession of events is not a necessary one. There is no logical inference from the occurrence of one kind of event to the occurrence of another kind of event. Indeed, David Hume is celebrated mainly for establishing the empiricist position. And it is for this reason that rationalists are convinced that Hume was ignorant of the real nature of an explanation.
Okay, so that's the paragraph we've read. Thank you for reading, Sister Myra.
That's all right.
Let's hear from what people think from this paragraph. So this paragraph has thrown more light on what rationalism and empiricism is about. What are they about? They are about explaining the world. How do we explain the universe? How do we explain the universe? And there are two routes used. There's a route of rationalism, and then there is empiricism. And that's what this paragraph is laid out for us. So let's hear from us what we think. Let's start with Brother Coco, please. Brother Coco.
Yeah. Rationalism. We use inference. And by inference, we will have observed some experiment or a happening, which from that occurrence, we can meaningfully draw some logic from. But empiricism, from what we are told here, is not like rationalism. It's from just one event that we draw the meaning, and that meaning we cannot use that inference from the first one to explain the second one. So again, we are here talking more about rational. And in economics, from where I come from, they always make assumptions that all consumers are rational. By being rational, we expect everyone to make a rational decision or rational choice. When you are given an opportunity to buy a cheaper or a product for a cheaper price, you will go for a cheaper price than the same product for a higher price. That's for an example of what rationality is in that case. But with empiricism, it's difficult to draw that, and especially just for over one event. It's important to observe whatever you are observing over a much longer period and over many purchases per many consumers. which will take a lot in terms of resources to get to the bottom of how this works. So my feeling here is that the empiricism which came in with philosophy in the beginning will have been snapshots of, oh, this is what has happened. And we take the empirical results from there and we make a conclusion based on that. But there is a lack of inference from that over the next set of events that happen. So there is that dichotomy between empirical studies and rationalism. The rationalism which we know are inbuilt in us as people, we expect people to have that logic to make the decisions, the right decisions for themselves, if several options are there on the table. Going back to Africa again, then, is Africa making the right decisions? Are Africans making rational choices? Are Africans making rational choices by taking their products and sending them abroad for them to be manufactured and then being sold back to Africa at higher cost? Is that a rational choice? Or is that an empirical choice? It's what we were told before that we continue to do. And again, it comes back to what is it that colonialism fed us?
Thank you very much, Brother Kuku. Let's hear from Mapoma. Mapoma, what do you think of what we've just read? Thank you. Let's remember, anyone can feel free to pass. If you are not ready to speak, you can tell us to pass, and we'll pass. Brother Pigeon, do you know who Mapoma is?
I think most Christians would testify to this in the first few years of the
No, I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know
thank
him,
you.
Brother Kwame.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Sister Ida.
He is unmuted. Can he speak?
He's not speaking. He just unmutes and doesn't say anything. Sister Ida, can you come in, please? Or maybe he's speaking, but we can't. His mic is not picking it up. It could be he's having technical challenges. Sister Ida, what do you think? Already. So let's go to.
Okay, I'm ready. Sorry, I didn't realize I'd
Okay.
muted again.
Yeah.
You
What do you
see,
think?
the thing is, I have to look up my page of what you explained to us earlier, and then I see that rationalism is on what I think of as the racist side, and imperialism is what I think of as the African side.
You mean
So
empiricism?
empiricism is what I
That's
think
not the
of
same as
as.
imperialism. No, but don't
Yes,
look
you're
at it
right.
that way, Sister Ida. Don't look at it that way.
You mean look at it
Empiricism.
as what's written?
No, don't look at it that way. Empiricism is a philosophy of science. It has nothing to do with
Yes.
racism. It's not to do with racism
No,
per
no,
se.
no. That was rationalism.
And rationalism also is a philosophy of science. Again, nothing to do with racism.
Oh well, okay, but it's gone
But
down under that side.
But you can rationalize racism, just as you can rationalize oppression or inferiority or anything. Anything can be rationalized.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, yes. And rationalism had think of it as reasoning is what I'd
It's
written.
it's just a way of looking at the world and saying that I can explain the world using logic, basically.
Yeah,
that's all he's
use of
trying
the
to say.
mind. Okay.
Yeah, using logic, and logic is of the mind, isn't it?
Well, let me write logic. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
basically what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put logic down. Okay, so what have I got from this? I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah, think about it. We'll come back to you. Let's go to.
Thank you.
Brother Mauli. Brother Mauli, your thoughts? But the Mali is not ready.
Hello.
Let's go to
Okay,
Sister
I'll pass as well too.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's go to Sister Myra, please.
So I'm going to put this in the context of the African issues or problems. So I've often had people comment, usually not Africans, that will say, oh, why is Africa so poor? You can't keep blaming colonialism. Look at China. Look at where they've gotten to, you know? So for me, that speaks to what event came before colonialism, then what happened afterwards. Well, neocolonialism. And where are we at? Well, we're still struggling, you know, but others would say, maybe that's not, what's the proof? That's not logical. Look at other countries like China, they've made it. You know, you can't keep blaming everyone for your problems. So that's what this paragraph made me think about. What has happened before? Can we make an inference from what has happened before to what we are experiencing now in the material? Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it. Thank you very much for that insightful contribution. Let's go to Brother Pigeon, please. Brother Coco is clapping for you, by the way, Sister Myra. Yeah, Brother
Thank
Pigeon.
you, Brother Coco.
Yeah, Brother Pigeon, let's hear from you.
Now, I'll put it also in simple context. One, if Thomas Sankara was assassinated, if Patrice Lumumba was assassinated, and if either Muammar Gaddafi was assassinated in the process of actually trying to liberate Africa, empiricism might tend to believe that even those who try to do it now will be assassinated, which to other side is not true. Rationalism do not find it that way. They tend to see it differently. Another thing will be like, for example, if, for example, different countries tried maybe the electoral processes in Africa to try to liberate themselves, and it failed. It doesn't mean, as empiricism will be applying to say that the first kind of event explains the second kind. There is no actually that correlation in rationalism, because rationalism try to tend to check the thing as it is. And I think this is where we move forward. Nkrumah says that you need to understand the material condition of the people and actually access it. So we cannot purport also in rationalism that because this succeeded in Congo, it can be applied in Kenya and succeeds. Because either the Mau Mau manage, like for example, Ghana got their independence peacefully, but it did not apply that all Africa could get it that peacefully. Kenya had to apply force into the forest and Mau Mau. So I think to me is trying to bring those two contexts, that empiricism is trying to say that having studied the sequence of events, you can even predict the next event based on the current sequences of events. While rationalism tries to think that there is no succession in those series of events, and each event happened differently and in a different situation that must be studied and actually must be learned as an individual and independent occurrences. Then in that way, you can be able to actually expand our mind enough to come up with a rational solution. But if you put a blanket over that, because this happened like that now, we don't need to study it further. Let's just know that it cannot happen. That one actually, the empiricism thinking can actually narrow our understanding and narrow our struggles for liberation. That's what I want to put it. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for that as well. That's also very insightful. Thank you. So we've heard from you. Let's see if Sister Marlin is with us, because maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Sister Marlin, are you there?
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Can you share your thinking, please?
I just think it's some of the leaders we have now, they don't.
Are you talking about the paragraph we've just read?
Yeah. And
we are talking about leaders. You're talking about leaders. We are talking rationalism and empiricism, Marlin.
Because
not
we
leaders.
are relating it to Africa.
Yeah, but talk about. Yeah, but Marlin, hold on. Talk about the paragraph before you apply.
Yeah, we can say we've got no rational thinking people that's in charge of Africa at the moment. And that's what is creating a lot of the problems in Africa. A lot of those leaders need to be.
So do you think? So do you think if they were? So do you think if they were empiricists, that it would be better?
Do I think?
You are saying they are not rationalists. They are not rational enough.
Yeah.
The leaders are not rational. So I'm asking you. So if they were empiricists, do you think that would be better?
I just think no, I don't think that would be better. I just think you just need some
So you don't think rationalist leaders are there, and you don't think that if they were empirical, that will help either. So what kind of leaders would you like to see in
I'd
terms
like
of
to
philosophy? In terms of philosophy of science,
um
what kind of scientists do you want to see leading Africa, basically? Even if they are political scientists, if you like.
right. Ones that have the people interests at heart before theirs.
But isn't that another? But isn't that? So isn't what you are saying is that it's not that they are not rational, is that the rationalism that they are applying is not the kind of rationalism that you would like to see.
Yeah.
Because imperialism has its own logic. And if you have a new colonialist leadership, they will have their logic. And their logic is that they will not take the people's welfare into account. So the problem is not the logic. The problem is the kind of logic that they are applying. I'm just raising this with the point you are making.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the kind of logic, yeah. And less interference that's needed. A lot of interference are put up on the African leaders, and they sit in meetings. Like I was listening to a video, and one guy from, I think it's Eritrea, one of the African countries, and he told them what they needed to hear at this summit and not what they wanted to hear. And that's what the African leaders have got to, when we get rid of these neo-colonialist leaders, we need leaders that will let them hear what need to be said and not what they want us to say.
All right. Thank you very much, Sister Marlin. It's now 9 o'clock. I think we've heard from almost everyone. Mapoma, I think, may be having difficulties with his mic, or maybe it's the first time, so she wants to just listen to us. That's fine. I hope you come back again, brother or sister Mapoma. So we've heard from everyone. Brother Dekim, do you want to come back before we close the meeting, Brother Mauli? Because you've heard a few people now. You want to come back and say a few words? Or?
Yeah, I'll pass for now. I think we're still in progress, so I'll pass for now.
Okay, so we have read that paragraph. We've started analyzing it. I think we are doing very well. So we'll pause there and continue next week. We'll all meet again on Saturday if you can, in order to then have a conversation. Thanks to Sister Ida, who initiated this indirectly, so we can discuss the unification of Africa. Brother Pigeon is doing a lot of research for us to use. We thank him. We'll begin to use the research material to make posters so that we can have discussions. I must say that when we set up the second WhatsApp group for conservatism, we made it clear that people must attend classes. It appears that people are not attending the class as they should. And this raises a question whether or not we can develop the kind of consciousness we need in order to provide the leadership. But we are also confident that it's not the many that can always provide the revolutionary leadership. It can be a few people just leading, and then that will help create a momentum at the right time. So I think we are doing the right thing by being here and having this discussion. And so thank you all for coming. And Brother
Brother Kwame,
Pigeon, yeah, Brother Pigeon, come in, yeah. So he wants to have something to say, yeah.
yeah, are we looking forward to Matigari this Saturday?
Are we looking forward to? Sorry, ask your question again.
Matigari. Are we
Yes,
looking forward to
Matigari.
Matigari this Saturday?
I think you need to do the part 2 with us, yeah.
Yes, because the property is becoming a key issue, as you always say.
So we need to listen. Maybe brother Fukua can continue the week after, yeah. But
Okay.
What do you mean the property?
There's no reason why we have 2 hours. Why you can't present, and then he also present. Doesn't have to be just one or the other.
Okay.
You can hear both. Yeah. The key thing is to have.
Brother Kwame, doing both never works.
You don't think so?
No, because you don't get into in-depth conversations, and everyone's in a hurry.
Right. Madame has spoken, so we will hear.
Oh, so sorry.
It's okay. Madame has spoken, so we'll hear one. So, Brother Pigeon, I don't mind if you present for us this Saturday, Matigari, because property is crucial. But I think Sister Ida, if I recall, wanted you wanted the meeting postponed so you can attend, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I want to hear
I don't know whether that happened.
Falkwa talk.
Brother Fukua, but he did present.
Falkwa.
Yeah. Okay. So
But
yeah,
I
Brother
don't,
Pigeon. Yes, I suppose you can't present next week, and then Brother Fukua will present the week after. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, the time is 9:04. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to start playing music, and feel free to leave whenever
Thank you
feel
so
like
much
it.
for
Thank you.
tonight.
Remember,
Thank
What about
you.
remember
Saturday?
to stop the recording.
What about Saturday?
Yeah, you can start the
Same
recording.
time.
Thank you.
Same
No,
time
I'm
at
not
7
Sorry.
o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, it's same time. Brother Pigeon. Yeah, you are now co-host. You can
I'm
stop
not.
the meeting. Thank you. You are co-host. You can do it now. Thank you. Right.